Hello everyone and welcome back. In this lesson, we are going to continue on with edit mode. Let's select our cube by clicking on it, zooming in slightly and then pressing tab to go into edit mode. So what I want to show you is how you can subdivide or split edges into two edges and do the same with faces. You can subdivide faces into smaller faces so that you have more geometry to work with. Let me show you which will be much simpler to understand this concept. So let's press 2 to go into edge select mode. So now we can select these edges and let's say we want to split this edge into two edges. You can simply right click and click on subdivide. Now this will bring up a little subdivide menu at the bottom so you can select the number of cuts. But for now, let's leave it as a default just one and just click in the 3D viewport just to accept that subdivide operation. So now if I press 1 to go into vertex select mode, you'll see that we now have an extra vertex right here in the center, which means if I press 2 to go into edge select mode, I can select this edge and this edge. So it basically split this one edge into two smaller edges. So I can click on this edge and I can press G to move it around. And as you can see that it's got a cut inside of that edge. I can press 1 and now I can move this vertex around like that. Let's try the same with the bottom edge, so I can switch back to edge select mode by pressing 2 or clicking this little button at the top. Let's select this bottom edge, right click subdivide and then just click to accept that. It looks like one edge, but if I click on this edge, you can see that we are only selecting the half of it and then we can select half of it. If I press 1 to show the vertices, I can see that it's created a new vertex right here in the center. Now let's see how we can connect these two new vertices that we have created, because currently this is still one face. If you press 3 or click on the face select mode, you can click on this face and you can see that it's still just one big face. So let's go back to vertex select mode by pressing 1 on the keyboard. And now I want to connect this vertex with this vertex. So to do that, select the first one, shift, click to select the second one, and then on the keyboard you can press the J button. J is for join. So now you can see that it's created an edge between those two vertices. So now if I press 2 on the keyboard, I can select this new edge, I can move it around, I can scale it or I can rotate it. If I press 3 on the keyboard to go into face select mode, I can now select two faces. You can see that it basically split this one big face into two smaller faces. So now I can go and can scale one of these, or I can rotate one of these faces, or I can just grab it. Let's look at another way to subdivide an actual face. So let's say you want to create more geometry on this face. So I select the face, right click, and you'll see that we got the same subdivide option right here. So let's click on subdivide. And now you can see that it split our face into 4 faces. You can use this menu at the bottom, the subdivide menu, to increase the number of cuts. So when you increase the number of cuts, it will increasing those faces. But let's keep it on 1 for now and then just click in the viewport to accept that. Now I have got 1, 2, 3 and 4 faces. I can scale them, I can rotate them, or I can move them around. So you can now go ahead and you can maybe subdivide this face into smaller faces. So I can right click, subdivide, and let's increase the number of cuts to maybe 3. Now you can see you've got all this geometry to work with. So now I can select maybe this face and I can maybe move it out, can maybe take this face or scale it out. And if we go into vertex select mode by pressing 1, you can see that we have created all these new vertices because we have subdivided this one face into smaller faces. Let's do the same with edge again. So let's switch over to edge select by pressing 2 on the keyboard. And as you can see here at the top, we have got one edge. So I can right click subdivide, and now let's increase the cut. Allow 4 and then just click to accept that. Look exactly the same, but if you click here, you can see that it's actually split that one edge into smaller edges. So if I press 1 on the keyboard to go to vertex mode, you can see that we have created 1, 2, 3, 4 new vertices on that one edge, because we did a 4 cut subdivide on that one edge. So let's do the same with the bottom edge. So I'm gonna go to change to edge, select this bottom edge, right click subdivide, and let's cut it into 4 and just click to accept that. Press 1 to see the vertices, and I can see we got 1, 2, 3, 4 vertices. So now what we can do is I can select one of these vertices at the top shift, click one at the bottom, and then press J to join them. And we can see we have created that edge between those two vertices. So let's do the same with these two vertices, and then button J to join them. Now you can see we have created all these new edges that we can move around, we can scale them, we can rotate them, we can move the vertices around, whatever you want to do. So this will just give you more geometry to work with and to create more complex objects. And once you're happy with your object, press tab to go out of edit mode, and then you can see we have created something that's a little bit more complex than just a normal cube. So I will see you in the next tutorial. Bye.